Welcome back, everyone, to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. In this part, we're going on to the boss, except not really. Treasure!
Going to the boss in a sec.
Yeah, in a sec.
Ooh.
We gotta stick to the.
There's a spoiler for
the
one of the copy abilities there.
Yeah, you want to get it out of the way now, because
no, we'll get to him. Well,
because I think there is a treasure road here that is of the heavy
oh
hammer.
well, we'll get to it when we get to that treasure road then, yeah. But in the meantime, we've got I don't know if I've talked about Wild Frosty much yet. It's sort of a similar case really to Fire's first upgrade. You know, longer ice stream. You create snowmen though that you can then hit at hit the enemy. I don't think the original ice could do this. No, it couldn't.
It did not.
The original ice had to do something a little more obtuse in order to get an effect like this. But yeah, with a wild sort of ice or frosty ice or whatever, your ice breath will create snowmen at the end of the stream, which you can then kick kind of like the ice blocks of frozen enemies, and they'll leave behind a sort of a trail of icicles as well. You'll actually leave behind a trail of snowmen when you use the freeze attack and sort of slide around as well. So like when you mash the freeze button and create sort of the freezing aura, that'll also create snowmen which you can increase the size of and kick. I think that was the way original ice could get like kickable projectiles, is that you'd use that ability to make ice projectiles you could kick. I might be wrong there though.
Yeah.
And then I think the blocking hasn't changed much.
No, it has not. I will also say that the freezing ability that Frosty Ice has gone a little quicker as well.
Yeah, similar to like the burning of fire. Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, I don't actually find myself using it all that much. I think it's because of the fact that it's a bit of a in-between sort of ability.
That's why I always upgrade as soon as possible. You know, you get them as powerful as they are as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Am I seeing this right? This is the Ranger Treasure Road after we did Twin Ranger. Huh, I don't remember this very well.
Yes.
I know I guess I can't remember it very well, but there were some interesting orders to the Treasure Road. I think was sometimes.
Well,
unless they were
in this.
Yeah.
I think they went with the regular Rangers because it's a single
shot
and not so
this
much
is a fun it's a fun little Treasure Road as well.
Yeah, I really like
this
one.
We often talk over Treasure Roads, but they can offer some very unusual gameplay challenges. Could be fun seeing a sequel to see these expanded maybe into the main levels some more in a way.
I think the reason why we don't really talk about the treasure roads all that often is that I don't think the treasure roads are like at least the earlier ones, they're not that interesting.
Right.
I think it's because
I
think it's like once we get later into the game, that's when like the higher concept treasure roads
as the abilities get upgraded and they get their upgraded stuff, they can use more interesting sort of variations of the abilities. But there's still like Sword. I think after all, Sword did have the quiz kind of one, didn't it? Earlier on, the quiz treasure road.
Yeah.
Well, quiz. It's more like choose the right direction, I should say.
And I think a lot of the earlier ones, a lot of the earlier treasure roads, they leaned more on the mouthful mode abilities, which I think in original Wasteland there isn't any mouthful mode.
Well, we've gone through most of the.
Roads.
I mean, here we've got like a maze for drill. This is a fun one. But yeah, I keep saying they're a fun one. Well, yeah, I think we've gotten through most of the basic mouthful mode sort of treasure roads at this point. There's still a few. I I think there's like a few additional ones left, and especially in the final world, there's something interesting for the mouthful modes.
Yeah, like the first few worlds had like treasure roads that showed you like certain aspects of the ability that you can like use for like normal gameplay, or like what they're best used for, in all that. Like it's more of a tutorial, type of thing.
Yes.
Whereas in original Wasteland, starting and going past that, it's more okay. Here we've shown you what you can do. Now apply it to these next challenges.
Yeah. At this point, I don't think they're showing off the controls of like the abilities much no more.
No, now this is an actual challenge.
Yeah. I still wish, like, hoping, like, if they, whatever their next Kirby game is, with its like new Kirby game, I should say, because we've had Return to Dreamland for a while now, the deluxe remake of that. But I hope they include like the controls, the abilities in the actual like pause menu again this time. Because while the figurines are a cool idea for like this stuff, right? For like having lore of like the enemies, that's cool. For like the enemies of the locations, that's pretty neat. But for the abilities themselves, like not so much. I don't think you should still have the controls personally. I mean, at the very least, like when you complete a treasure mode, maybe then unlock the like abilities moves set in the pause menu or something. That way you could have it like both ways, like the feeling of discovering a move set and then being taught like new secrets about it, and also having the actual information at hand.
I think the reason why they didn't do that is because like the abilities have been in some of the more recognizable ones. They've been like stripped back like quite a bit. Like,
well, yeah, for the 3D, obviously most of the abilities don't have the full movesets of their 2D counterparts. But I've talked before about how they still get a lot out of like different of different control methods for these abilities, though. Like we've mentioned, like mashing B, pressing B to do a combo, holding a direction B, some like sliding, jumping while they can still get a lot out of the controls though to get a big moveset. Maybe in future games we'll see. I want more copy abilities in the next Kirby the next 3D Kirby, I should say. You can always trust like the 2D ones to have around 25 or 6 on average.
Well, I think Forgotten Land is being used as like Forgotten Land is a good game in its own right. Let's not forget that. But I think it's also being used
absolutely,
as a testing ground. Like it's being used as a testing ground for more 3D Kirby games. Like I think
Blowout Blast was more of a testing ground for Kirby in 3D. This can be but like this is our first real concepts of Kirby in 3D, like fully proper and such.
They I don't know if Blowout Blast had like copy abilities. I think it was just you were playing as normal Kirby and you had to like use the
No, it didn't. It was kind of like Kirby's Dream Land 1 but in 3D, that game.
So there
but
were
a score attack
sort of.
No. Kirby's Dream Land 1 never had copy abilities. That's the Game Boy one.
No, I mean I'm talking about Blowout Blast.
Yeah, Blowout Blast is like is sort of like a 3D version of Kirby's Dream Land 1 in a sense.
Okay.
But it's mostly a score attack it's mostly a score attack as well.
Because what I'm talking about is like Blowout Blast is more of the like okay, let's just get the idea. Let's just figure out how Kirby would control like base Kirby would control in a 3D environment.
Yeah.
That's Blowout Blast. Forgotten Land is more like, okay,
the actual full expansion.
We know how Kirby we know how Kirby controls in 3D. Let's apply copy abilities and see what we can do with that.
Let's talk. Speaking of Kirby in 3D, though, let's talk about the game's sort of development and Kirby's history with that a bit more with 3D.
Oh yeah.
We might have discussed a few things with Kirby in 3D before, but there are a few interesting development tidbits for making this game, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there are a few. One of them is when it comes to hit
Oh, look, I'm alpha
registration.
mode.
What? Oh, oh,
Oh,
cool.
well. You said
There's the one.
there's the one. This is
There's the one.
yeah, but you go on.
The when it comes to hit registration, Kirby doesn't. Kirby does it in a different way. More on the like Kirby in the Forgotten Land uses Kirby's position and that's relative to the camera to deal out when a hit by an enemy hits.
I remember.
Whether or not it's registered.
Yeah, I remember finding out about this during the when the demo was released. Some people made some videos, on it, showing it sort of off. But even when like the it basically allows it, but if an attack looks like it should hit an enemy, it hits an enemy, even if technically positionally it doesn't make any contact. Because I believe there's a particular GIF or a video that shows like regular gameplay and then like what it looks like from a different angle. And yeah, it's very fascinating. It's also got all sorts of other things like coyote jumps, I believe, and fuzzy land. Something called fuzzy landing. You discovered, right?
Yeah. Jumping had to be just. I'm reading off the article from Screen Rant from this, but jumping had to be adjusted, and so Kamiya created a fuzzy landing mechanic in which if Kirby is already close to the ground when attempting to jump immediately after a jump, he won't float.
Prevents awkwardness, yeah.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that has been used in some games before, like, and when it's absent, you can really feel it. I assume you've seen like the infamous like glitches of Sonic 06 and the ones where Knuckles and Rouge can't jump off the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen
fuzzy landings to avoid that kind of situation.
I honestly haven't really I haven't had like that bad when people bring up that glitch in Sonic 06, they usually think of like they're on the wall and they can't get off for whatever reason.
Yeah,
and I think that in particular is a very rare thing to happen.
It's the things like
for Sonic 06 because I haven't had that kind of situation happen to me.
Well, I say it's fuzzy landings to avoid that situation happening, but I'm trying to think for a sec. It is two different things, I guess. But the idea is basically just to stop prevent it, to make the game feel more natural, because it'll feel weird that like just before you land you accidentally float instead. Feel weird. Also, this treasure road, to get the best time for is this was one of the hardest ones for me. Took multiple attempts because you have to.
It's pretty difficult in its own right. Like even if you're not.
You have to really utilize the sort of the dragon mode, because when you jump into a cannon, it should be noted that when you jump. Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, this is where I have to like restart.
Yeah, but when you light a fuse, if you jump into the cannon, the fuse will actually speed up. In this game in particular, especially if you like enter the cannon. I think if you crouch I know in 2D Kirby games if you crouch into the cannon it would also make it speed up, but I think if you press R is the button you can use, Kirby will sort of duck into the cannon and then the fuse will speed up. I believe that's what it is.
Is that how it works? Did that work in the previous game?
At some point in one of the previous games, if you held down to crouch into the cannon, it would speed up the fuse time. Yes. I don't know. I don't remember which one. I know it was in Star Allies, though.
I thought it was cosmetic.
Oh, and it's not just cosmetic. They eventually added it. It's not. It wasn't always that way. It's something that was added in one of the newer Kirby games. The ability to crouch into the cannon, make it go faster. And I think you can do it in this game, because otherwise otherwise it's going to be a bit difficult to get the best time. In this particular treasure road without it, you have to make heavy use of the super burning attack.
Not to mention make the cuts where you
and avoid the ice and stuff.
Well, I mean the ice can aid in like the speed.
Yeah, see, you're doing it here.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Okay. I didn't know that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Like,
because if you look at the best time for this one here, like target time 1 minute, yeah, you're gonna need to get into that cannon as quick as possible.
Yeah. Just to go back on the 3D Kirby stuff, do you want to talk about like HAL's past attempts of making a 3D
Well,
Kirby
I think
game?
we may have discussed it in some videos before, but basically, right, HAL has oh, there's another mouthful mode one.
Yeah, there's two. Okay, there's two. There's two.
It's alright. But yeah, I mean, we discussed before how like I think the first time players have actually had a 3D Kirby was really Kirby's Air Rides for the GameCube because of City Trial. You could jump off the car. That would be the first time you could actually sort of control Kirby in 3D. I'm not sure 3D was actually on the cards for Kirby during Kirby 64's development. Kirby 64 has its own development history, but I don't know if being 3D was ever on the table for it.
After 64 Kirby 64's development, they did experiment with 3D Kirby in some regards.
Yeah, there is a screenshot actually, and one of what it asks actually, it's talked about the in the Kirby game when Kirby for GameCube is kind of like the cream of the crop of sort of like Kirby, like sort of what's the word, like beta stuff. I mean, it's I don't English.
Proof of concepts.
Well, Kirby for GameCube was a game they were making, right? They were assuming making with the intent of it coming out, but and we've had plenty of footage because it's like the most in depth of the cancelled Kirby games. That's technically the word I'm looking for. It was a cancelled Kirby game, and it's sort of the golden chalice of the lot, or the golden egg, or whatever sort of metaphor I'm trying to go for. And that eventually led into Kirby's Return to Dreamland on the Wii, of which you can see a bunch of stuff, similarities there in the final game. Although I'd still want to know what the GameCube one would be like, especially for how would copy abilities go and all that.
I imagine it'd be pretty isometric.
But when the first Kirby for GameCube concept fell through, of which I think a few assets were probably used for Kirby's Air Ride, or vice versa. Yeah, there were a few other sort of attempts at making Kirby game. One of the attempts was a 3D one. You can see in sort of like some screenshots, kind of like a patch, sort of like a square by square 3D environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Weren't the models for like Return to Dreamland, like the original, wasn't that like made for that GameCube game?
Yes.
I feel like
yeah, they were probably updated, but that is true. Yes.
Yeah, because I remember like the beta footage for that 3D GameCube Kirby game was like the art style was remarkably.
I mean, things did change. Like if you've ever seen like Hammer, for instance, the way that looks in the GameCube footage is very different.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of copyability upgrades here. Can't wait to talk about these when we see them.
Yeah, we got Twin Drill and Crystal Needle, which by the way is my favorite.
We also got the wild sort of bonkers hammer as well.
Yeah, well, I think I actually show off unlocking that later on.
Whoops.
So
you have it in,
or if I forget, I think I might have.
You already have it in this footage though. I don't remember you getting the Blizzard ice.
Yeah, but I don't remember if I actually showed off the upgrade process. I think I did eventually in like a later part actually.
You still need the
or later in
You
this
still
video,
need the buzzsaw cutter though, don't you? At this point in time. You showed it in the
yes.
showed it in the footage, but yeah. Just a bit of editing magic to make sure things are all in order here.
Yeah, I think it's like available here. No, it's not. I just went back to Wild Hammer for this one. Wait, no. That's right. I think this is like this is still the part where I haven't gotten the I haven't gotten the cutter.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yet, even though I showed where it is, but at this point in time, I did not have the cutter.
We'll see it eventually.
Like here, this is the part where I actually found out that I had to like get
Whoops.
it. Like, oh shoot.
Well, you just do the other ones first.
Yeah, I did the other ones, and I think I just cut to like.
Well, excellent.
I cut to
Let me talk about them then.
Cutter.
Crystal Needle. Right. So we have a much bigger needle ball now, as we can see. The size has increased vastly. Differences from normal needle, besides that, is that you will now leave a trail of crystal projectiles behind you, which can damage the enemy, and once you exit the crystal needle form, you will fire off a bunch of crystal projectiles, as well as all the enemies that you've gathered. Like right there, you saw a few natural crystal projectiles without needing any enemies attached to you. So even if there are no like stars or enemies or such, you've got kind of projectile attack with crystal needle. So yeah, those are the main differences. Pretty awesome all around.
Jeez.
Your Katamari of Death is reached its peak, and it looks delightful.
Yeah, it is. I love that treasure road. It's really fun. Oh wait, what are we doing?
This is you by getting the buzzsaw, I assume.
Yeah, this is me getting cut.
Yeah.
Buzzsaw cutter.
Buzzsaw cutters.
Honestly, I thought. Wait, that's right. I think the only one that I was thinking the only one that was available to me at the moment was the crystal needle treasure. So I had to go back and I had to cut this in so that I can show off the buzzsaw treasure road. But I think there is a wild bonkers hammer. Oh, the wild bonkers hammer treasure road in original Wasteland. I think. I'm not too sure, that I just kind of forgot about, or maybe I'm thinking of something else entirely.
Maybe we'll see it, or maybe not.
Maybe we will.
Either way,
or maybe not.
Buzzsaw cutter. So this is the final evolution of the cutter. With this, you can ricochet the cutter saw off of walls. So now it's so just like before, you can fire the cutter. It's giant now, by the way. You can fire it off. You can hold it in place and charge it in place as well, like the other cutters. But it will now ricochet off walls, and it will get faster. It will damage up, and it'll also what's the word? It'll also keep your powered up state. So basically, if you power up your cutter and then sort of avoid it so it hits a wall, the powered up cutter projectile will then bounce across all these walls and such to hit enemies. And this way you can actually have multiple cutter projectiles at once, as you can see here. It's in the right circumstances, it's a very powerful copy ability. It can shred mini bosses, this one, because you're always in like a walled off section. It's devastating. It's also quite different from the other copy ability. I'd say it's still a straight upgrade from like regular cutter. Oh, I don't know how you manage that. It's still a straight upgrade from regular cutter, but it still has Chakram cutter still has its uses in this instance, though. So yeah, I think cutters so far has been one of the most successful copy abilities with having differences in its with differences throughout all of its evolutions, which is awesome.
Yeah. I think there's still reason to go back to Chakram.
Yeah, if you wish to,
in some instances.
But really powerful. Really like this this one. Also, a fun fact: for some reason, Buzzsaw Cutter is because you get figurines of all the copy abilities as well. Buzzsaw Cutter is the only final evolution of a copy ability, which is only 3-star rarity. All the others are 4 and above star rarity.
Oh really?
Yeah. Don't know why Buzzsaw Cutter gets shafted like that. I guess maybe there was going to be another Cutter upgrade at some point. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Cutting room floor and all that.
That's just speculation because I think most final evolutions of the abilities do look like their most powerful selves in a lot of regard. Like, not this, but like, the Crystal Needle, it has sort of the pinkish of like sort of the Needle Hat as well. Whereas Buzzsaw Cutter is definitely the most powerful version of Cutter, but I guess visually it might not always indicate that. That's just a random speculation though, because we enter the boss.
Now we've gone back in time. We've gone back in time to earlier in the Raw video where I just went for the boss first.
That's not Elfilin.
That's not Elfilin at all. That's Pinata Elfilin.
Crude looking patchwork. Instead, we get this bizarre looking fellow.
Gosh.
Silly Dillo.
Silly Dillo.
It's a bizarre name. Although, I do like the idea of I do like the word silly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Be careful with his swing with that, because he'll grab you and shake you.
Yeah. Could be a painful attack. Only uses it in this sort of first form of the fight, though.
Yeah. Well, no, he does use it in the second phase,
he can do
that much.
That is true, I guess. He can do. It's just much rarer because he does some other stuff. Being Armadillo rolling around at the speed of sound. Also, the slow-mo allowing for some dodges. Though that's natural slow-mo. Those don't occur with the dodging. They can happen naturally in this fight, allowing you time to dodge.
Yeah. I think at this point, if you haven't like figured out how the dodge works, then this is like the place where it's either going to be applied or it's going to teach you that that you can like use
possibly, yeah. Like, assuming you've not been trying to use it for some missions and such already for like.
Because I think the other bosses, I don't think like I think Gormondo might be the one case, but I don't think you really need to use the dodge mechanic for like Chloraline.
I think it helps with getting like the damageless run on her.
I mean, yeah, but like you could just fly like above all her attacks and just.
Suppose so, yeah.
You don't really.
By the way, Silly Dillo's design to me was always oh dear. Has always been.
Yeah, that's why I made the stupid decision.
Silly Dillo's design for me has always been a very interesting one, coming from like Japanese devs, I guess. I think there's always an expectation.
Really?
Well, for me, I think there's always this sort of expectation of like in games what like sort of Japanese art looks like. I guess like there's definitely lots of variants, but this always struck me as a very Western-looking cartoon creature. It's the. I think it's the eyes mainly, the big round like eyes, big round pinprick eyes.
Yeah.
Goofy looking mother fudger.
Yeah, like I think this is the kind of thing you'd see in like in a Nickelodeon cartoon or like in a gag comic.
Yes, he makes his cardboard wife.
Yeah.
Throws tons of those at them. Did it. There's Silly Dillo. That's the third original member of this beast pack we've met so far.
And with this, we get Blizzard Ice, which is
what we upgraded earlier.
Yeah, we'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
Also, this is the boss where you actually have to use the bomb ability for one of the missions.
Oh, okay. That means we get to talk about Remote Bomb. I think in my playthrough, I first used Remote Bomb.
Or no, actually no, no. I'm actually being wrong.
Oh.
I did. However, I did use Bomb for the fight, for like one of the last fights, for the defeat the boss in this specific amount of time in the no-hit run. But I just saw one of the missions. It was like you had to use the hammer ability instead. So I'm sorry.
Well, we'll still have something new to talk about at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we got the third level of the figurine machine there. Some red figurines. Yep.
There are like 4 tiers of
we won't see
figures,
the fourth one
think
until post game.
Yeah, fourth one doesn't really appear. I don't think the fourth one appears in levels. I think it does in this area. Or right.
in the spoiler area.
You know what, dude, don't worry. I'll censor it in post. Don't worry.
Yeah, those yeah. They are if you want to go hunting for specific figurines, like doing certain things to grind for like the star coins is one way so you can pay at the machines. Another way is like levels will always have like a certain rarity of figurines like in the same spots that you can always go for.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there are, but I think for the most part the tier 4 is like the one tier that you have to like get the stuff like within Waddle Dee Town, like either through other characters or the arena or just using the vending machine.
There is an opportunity to collect level 4 ones in levels, but yeah, it's much later.
Yeah. So yeah, now we get to test out the stone hammer against the
against Silly
Dillo.
Right, wild hammer. Oh, well, I guess we'll skip. Will you use it?
Oh, right.
Will you use it in the future?
Right. I had the mentality of, okay, I've already fought this guy, so I'll just skip to the last hit.
Are we going to see the hammer in future?
Yeah. We
okay. Right. In this particular hammer, I mean.
I used it quite a bit, actually. I used it quite. Yeah, I used this one quite a bit.
Interesting. Okay, because I've got some things to say about this one.
Yeah. Okay. So. I don't think I actually. Oh, here.
And here's the remote bomb. Do you use these in future?
I don't know.
Oh dear.
I don't know.
Well, there will be treasure roads for these at least. I can explain the things then.
I use this one. I use this the ability here because it actually proved to be pretty good with the automatic one. Yeah, I use this one to get the clear the time, defeat the boss in this.
I'm shocked that's the one that actually defeated the boss in time limit. Ooh, the music.
Maybe. Yeah, and I kept this in for this part because, yeah, I was being dumb.
Yeah, it's alright.
But yeah,
join us next time as we enter the Redgar Forbidden Lands.
Finally, some fire for my barbecue.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.